The OnePlus 8 series launch is fast approaching, and actually before that, the information we're getting about the Oppo Find X2 and Find X2 Pro, which is going to be very similar to that phone, is giving us a lot of hope for the OnePlus 8 series. So there are two main areas where OnePlus can just take those technologies away from the Find X2, put them into OnePlus, and we'll all be happy. The first is the camera system that we now know about, and the second is the charging system, again, that we now know about. So firstly, let's come to the camera, and we know all the specs, even down to the actual sensors they'll be using in the Find X2 Pro. And I think it is a big step in the right direction for Oppo, and hopefully OnePlus can take this camera setup too. So the main image sensor is a new sensor from Sony called the IMX689. It is a 48 megapixel image sensor, but the actual sensor is way bigger than previous versions. This image sensor measures in at a size of 1/1.4 inches with individual pixel sizes of 1.12 microns. However, because the image sensor uses pixel binning, that is turning 4 pixels into 1, the pixel size when taking normal 12 megapixel images goes up to 2.24 microns. A lot of numbers, but comparatively compared to the competition, these numbers stack up pretty well. So the S20 and S20 Plus recently released have individual pixel sizes of 1.8 microns. And even compared to the Galaxy S20 Ultra with that brand new image sensor, the absolutely huge HM1 image sensor with its pixel sizes at 2.4 microns, this new Sony image sensor is there or thereabouts. All this is to say this new main image sensor is big, and usually the bigger the better when it comes to image sensors. The bigger the sensor, the bigger the individual pixels, the more light you can gather, and as a general rule, the bigger the better. So it looks like this image sensor, from a hardware standpoint anyway, is right up there. All Oppo have to do is put a good lens on here and then sort out the software. As we know, the software is even more important than the hardware when it comes to smartphones. As for the secondary image sensor, it's using a Sony IMX586. This image sensor was used in a ton of smartphones last year, including the OnePlus 7 and 7T range. Loads of Oppo phones, Redmi phones, Xiaomi phones, even Huawei phones all use this sensor. It's been around for a long time, used as the main image sensor last year in those phones, but now it looks like it's being moved over to the ultra-wide lens. This image sensor is also capable of 4K video recording, so it could mean that 4K video recording would be available on both the main and ultra-wide lenses. The third sensor is from Samsung, and rumors are suggesting that there will be a Periscope zoom camera in this phone. And for me, this is a really good thing, a really simple camera setup, a triple camera setup with 3 really useful lenses, an ultra-wide, a main, and a Periscope zoom. There were lots of rumors regarding OnePlus looking at unique camera sensors from Sony. So actually what we might be looking at is the camera system in the Oppo Find X2 Pro being almost the same as what we find in the OnePlus 8 Pro. For me, that would be a really good thing. I like the look of the hardware in this camera setup. It looks high quality, simple, and you have 3 really useful lenses. The second area where we can look to the Find X2 Pro and hope that this is exactly what the OnePlus 8 Pro gives us is in the charging area. Confirmed now that the Find X2 Pro will have a 4,200 mAh battery with 65-watt charging, 30-watt wireless charging, and 10-watt reverse charging. Rumors are all suggesting that the OnePlus 8 Pro is going to give us wireless charging for the first time this year. Oppo have chosen to keep the battery slightly smaller and offer much faster wired charging, so that even though a bigger battery would give more battery life, you can charge this thing for 5-7 minutes and get a huge chunk of battery life anyway. Considering Realme have just come out with the X50 Pro, also with this 65-watt charging, the Snapdragon 865, it's very unlikely that OnePlus are going to choose anything lower than 50 watt. OnePlus may choose a bigger battery with the 50 watt, or they may go the Oppo route and choose a slightly smaller battery with the fastest 65-watt charging. That's really the only option for them because they can't be seen to be beaten by their sister brands Oppo and Realme giving better charging specs than OnePlus, now a flagship brand in its own right. Oppo have also been giving us loads of information about the very high quality screen that they'll be using in the Find X2. This is also going to be extremely similar to what we find in the OnePlus 8 Pro, a very high resolution, high refresh rate, high quality screen, so nothing to worry about in that department. Subscribe for all the latest tech news and videos. That's it for now, but I'll see you in the next one.